Hello, today we will be learning about making connections. And I have a short video that I want you to watch about making connections.
Hey, do you like to play with connecting blocks? Most kids do. It's so fun to take two things and connect them together. The blue block and the green block fit together perfectly. Did you know that you can connect or put things together when you read too? Good readers make connections when they read. There are three main ways to do this. The first way is a text-to-self connection. Have you ever read something that reminded you of you and your life? For example, if you read about Janie falling off of her bike, it might remind you about a time you fell off your bike. Because you know what it is like to fall off your bike, you can better understand how Janie feels or what might happen next in the story. Let's read about Henry. Henry loved getting ice cream. He was so happy that Grandma was taking him for a treat. He ordered his favorite, strawberry. Then, the worst thing that could happen happened. The nice round ball of ice cream fell off his cone and hit the ground with a splat. Did reading that remind you of anything that's ever happened to you? If it did, you made a text-to-self connection. Maybe you've dropped your ice cream before. We call this text-to-self because the text reminded you of yourself. The second kind of connection is called text-to-text. This is when one text reminds you of another. You might read one story and say to yourself, hey, that reminds me of a part in another book. Let's read more about Henry. Donnie saw what happened. He felt sorry for Henry, so he said, I will share my ice cream with Henry. Did that remind you of another text? It reminded me of another story I read about sharing. Look at the second book. Julia saw that Josh did not have a treat. She decided to share hers with him. When Donnie shared with Henry, it reminded me of Julia sharing with Josh. The third kind of connection connects the text to the world, and we call this a text-to-world connection. When we say world, we mean anything going on around you. It can't be something that happened to you, because then it would be a text-to-self connection. But it can be something that reminds you of someone you know, your mom, your brother, a cousin, your dog. Or maybe it reminds you of a place like a school or a park. When what we read makes us think of something and it's not ourselves or another book, that is a text-to-world connection. Boys enjoyed the ice cream together, and when it was done, they picked up a baseball and played catch. Grandma smiled because she liked to see Henry feeling happy. Does that remind you of something in this world? It reminds me of watching my brother toss the baseball around the yard. It doesn't remind me of something that happened to me, and it doesn't remind me of another book. But since it does remind me of my brother, someone in my world, it's a text-to-world connection. His grandma smiling at him also reminds me of when my grandma smiles at my little cousin. Making connections when you read is fun because you get to think about what you know. And when you think about what you know, it helps you understand a story better. This is a great reading strategy, and you should practice doing this when you read. Let's review. Today, you learned that a text-to-self connection is when a text reminds you of your own life, yourself. A text-to-text connection is when a text reminds you of another text. And a text-to-world connection is when a text reminds you of something in the world. So go pick up a book and start reading. Make those connections. You will understand your book better and become a better reader at the same time. You'll do great on your Reading Wallet quizzes. Happy reading from Reading Wallet.
So this week, we will learn to make connections. When good readers read, they connect with what they're reading to things they have read, seen, or done. This helps them better understand the passage. It is important, though, to stay focused on what they're reading and not let the connections we make distract us. Look at page 11 and read the title with me. It says, Sparky the Wonder Dog. Does that title make you think of something? It makes me think about my dog Biscuit. Here is a picture of my dog. I wonder what Sparky the Wonder Dog will be like, if it will be anything like my dog Biscuit. Read the passage to yourself and then complete the activity below.